This was not a planned stream. Of course it wasn't. But I've got a blue sky and a beautiful evening. And the government is shut down. So what do you do in Washington, D.C. when the government is shut down? There is plenty to do in Washington, D.C. when the government is shut down. Did you all catch that squirrel jumping from tree to tree? I hope you all saw that. That was wild. I hope you all saw that. Okay, so rewind the video back to 0.50 and just watch those trees and you'll see an amazing squirrel jump. Unbelievable. We are at the Archives, Navy Memorial Metro stop, but we're at the Navy Archives. We're at the Navy Memorial looking at the National Archives. And we're going to take a little cruise around this area. Instead of walking up 7th Street, let's go the back way and see what's happening while the government is shut down. Yes, there is far less traffic here today, but still a lot of good reason to be in Washington, D.C. I got bit by another mosquito. This place, it does not matter what time of year you are here. This is a swamp. It's always a swamp. It's built over a swamp. There are always mosquitoes. But don't let that deter you from visiting Washington, D.C. If you haven't joined my prior streams, this is the Navy Memorial. It's located on Pennsylvania Avenue in Northwest Washington, D.C. That is the National Archives building right there. And this is a great stop. Dude, this is a war memorial, you know? Yeah, it is a war memorial. Thanks, appreciate it. Good, he listened to me. Probably looks like a great place to skateboard, but and I have him on video. I know, right? It makes me crazy. Those of us, especially those of us who have parents and ancestors who served, it is ridiculously disrespectful. Hopefully, he'll learn his lesson. All right, but we're not here to be that cranky old lady. We're here to take a walk in Washington, D.C. on a beautiful evening. It is like 78 degrees, sunny. It's about 5 minutes to 6. Hi, Rob. Nice to meet you. Yeah, this was a totally unplanned stream. So I do apologize for just jumping on here. Great to see you. Hi, Tony. I often take little walks in Washington, D.C. Early morning on Saturdays and Sundays. This weekend I did both. I did a Saturday and a Sunday stream just because the weather is beautiful. And usually I do one weeknight. I work in and around Washington, D.C. And if the weather is good, I take the opportunity to walk around. I think we're going to go up this little street. I love some good architecture, and this is a good street to take a look at some preserved architecture in this area. Now, someone asked me over the weekend about some of the buildings we were looking at in the Kalorama area and the DuPont Circle area, and asking me, are they preserved buildings or just the facades? And those buildings were completely, hey, Big Erm! I know, look at the weather is so beautiful. No Embassies today, but we're gonna check out some architecture we haven't looked at before. We're in what's called Penn Quarter, of Washington. We started at the Navy Memorial, and we're here at a little side street, and I was sharing how over the weekend some were asking, hey, is this a preserved building or just a facade? And the buildings we looked at over the weekend were completely preserved in total. But today we're going to look just at a few facades. Now this one is preserved. I'm a little too close, but this is one of those streets. I don't want to walk in the middle of the street because folks turn these corners really quickly. But this one is an entire building, but across the way, you're going to easily be able to see where just some of the facades were preserved. And a great big office building is right behind those facades. Oh, thanks, Big Arm. Hey. The other Japanese embassy is the only one that ever told me to stop filming. That one's up near American University, and you kind of have to stand on a driveway, which is a public driveway, and then as I was trying to record, I was very politely told not to record, but it's really the only place where I was ever told. So some of these are actual pieces of the facade, but other pieces have been what do we call it? Oops. I don't want to say exaggerated. What's the word? Augmented. Let's use the word augmented. Some of the parts of these facades have been augmented. And you'll be able to see. So on this one, the brickwork is an original facade of a building that was on this street. The building was torn down, the facade was saved and repurposed on the building behind. Penn Quarter is absolutely full of theaters. We walked through Penn Quarter when we did I think we toured 7 different theaters in Washington, D.C. We started at the Shakespeare Theater, at the Harmon Center, and this is a banner for the Shakespeare Theater, the Sidney Harmon Auditorium, I think we started at. And we walked all through Washington and this area, and we visited several. So this is a great place to work. It is a great place to work. There's a lot to do here in this part of Washington, and it's very easy to get around. This part of Washington is super close to several metro lines. When we were down on the Archives Navy Memorial area, that's the green and the yellow line. But just a few blocks up at Gallery Place, you can get to the red line. You can get everywhere. You can just get everywhere from this area. This is also where a lot of shishi restaurants are located. And we'll walk past a few of those now. Hi, Noel. Noel or Noel? Oh, thank you, Hodel. This is called Penn Quarter. It's the Penn Quarter area of Washington, D.C. It's near the theaters. It's also near the arena where our hockey team and our basketball team plays. So this is a hopping area. This is Matchbox. This is not the original Matchbox restaurant. It's kind of hard to get a picture. You know, I'm gonna have to go across the street because I want to show you this building and I want to show you the whole thing. And I am getting bit by mosquitoes. Why? It's October now. They do come after me. I am getting, and I use bug spray. It doesn't help. All right, let's see if we can get across. We can get across. Hotel Monaco here in the former U.S. Patent and Trademark Office from days gone by. But what I want to show you is, so that restaurant Matchbox, pizza restaurant, by the way, brick oven pizza, fantastic brick oven pizza, occupies this building called the Bush Building, which is a beautiful example of preserved architecture. I know, right, Big Arm? I wish they'd stop in this economy. Seriously. I am itching.
How expensive is it?
But several restaurants to choose from, and then right next door, although the architecture isn't the grandest, let me move over here, the food is. And this one on the corner is Jaleo. This is a Jose Andres restaurant. You can look him up and see. He's a very famous chef. And I can attest to the amazing food at this restaurant. This is a tapas restaurant. And everything is amazing at this restaurant. And this outdoor seating, this arose during COVID. As other restaurants did, they had to find ways to serve their customers outdoors. And as other restaurants have in and around Washington, this outdoor seating stayed. And it's quite lovely. Although it does impede the view of the great big red Jaleo sign, the letters in the window here. Now we walked up 8th Street from the archives area, and now we're on 7th Street, and you've seen me on 7th Street before. It is one of my all-time favorite because of the, this used to be and still is a huge commercial district in Washington, D.C. And many of the historic shops, some small, some large, have been preserved and still exist today with other shops located in them. And this is great. And some of them change out frequently. You know, some of these restaurants and shops, every time I come here, it's a different name. But this corner is a great corner to walk up and down. I'll also tell you, later at night, when the buildings are lit from the inside, it's a great view. And I have a few shorts spotlighting some of the buildings on this block lit from the inside. Well, we're gonna walk up this street, and I'm gonna have to talk very fast and very consistently because there's music, and I have to be careful of that. I do want to take a look at this one on the corner here that still includes the stained glass work above the windows. This one has changed hands multiple times too. It's currently street pizza. Okay, now I can stop talking so fast. This is currently street pizza. It's housed a number of restaurants, and it was, I think, a department store back in the day. As you can see, it's definitely got that early 1900s department store vibe going on. Now, all the other times that I've walked up and down 7th Street, it's been early in the morning. So we've focused with the sunlight on one side of the street. But because it's evening, I can focus on this side of the street because the sunlight's on the other side. And even when the government shut down, there's always a lot of traffic on this street. And I haven't done my research. I don't know what this building is, but I like it. Most of these date back to the late 1800s. In some cases, early 1900s. I don't think there's anything early 1800s here. Why is this guy just going backwards and backwards and backwards and backwards? Okay, he's been going backwards the entire way. I think he's just trying to get my way. I truly believe that. But that's okay. Now I have another really good view of this building here until he pulls up and gets in my way. Hi, Lost in the Big Bang. This is Washington, D.C. This is 7th Street Northwest. We are north of Constitution Avenue and north of Pennsylvania Avenue. And we're just taking, boy, that's loud. We're taking an impromptu evening stroll. I did not plan to stream, but the weather's beautiful and I'm avoiding traffic. If I leave now, I'll be in traffic for over an hour. So now this building, we have taken a really good look at this. This is also a former department store, as you might have guessed. It has that beautiful awning. And this is called Terrell Place. And if you can see all the intricate work on this building here on the corner that has been lovingly cared for. Whoa, okay. Again, the scooter people, they're just on the sidewalk. They're always on the sidewalk. Kevin, hey, good to see you. Good to see you. We're in Washington as usual. But I want to focus on this clock on the corner of this beautiful building. No, it's not working. I wonder why the clocks are never working. The clocks are never working. But we can just take this in because normally when I'm on this street, it's in the morning and the sun's on the other side. So now we get to look at this side of the block because the sun's over here. And Kevin, I'm getting bitten up by mosquitoes. It is crazy. Why does it always happen to me? And right in the middle of our beautiful preserved commercial district in Washington, D.C. is our great big Capital One Arena. This is where and here is one of D.C.'s finest. This is where our hockey team, the Washington Capitals, and our basketball team, the Washington Wizards, play right here. And I'm very grateful that there's usually music blaring, and I'm very grateful there's not, so that I don't have to talk like a maniac. But we've looked at this street from the opposite direction. No, Tyler, that ain't happening. No. We've looked at this street coming south. Now we're going north, and the sun's on the other side. So we're getting a completely different view here. And we're giving free advertising to MedStar Health. Okay, and Capital One. All of our sports arenas are named. They're all sponsored. It's so tacky and commercial. I like where my baseball team plays at Oriole Park at Camden Yards. Not commercial. Just good old Oriole Park at Camden Yards. This beautiful building is the Museum of American Art and Portraiture. And if you go around the other side, the National Portrait Gallery is there. You can see 20th century Americans. During this shutdown, thank you, Lost in the Big Bang. During this shutdown, check the websites first before you go anywhere in Washington, D.C. Some of the Smithsonian museums and facilities may be impacted. The National Sculpture Garden was closed. But I did see people coming out of some of the other museums earlier today. Hi, Diana. Nice to see you. Oh, it's 11:10 in Algeria. Wow. It's 6:10 here in beautiful Washington, D.C. Yeah, the arena's right here. You can walk, truly, depending on how much time you have, you can walk everywhere in Washington, D.C. Everywhere. It's not a problem. Most of the city is flat. Capitol Hill, hilly. And then when we're wandering around Rock Creek, over in like Calorama or some of the areas of Georgetown, that sort of area, it's a little hilly there too, as you can imagine. But this area is relatively flat. Now I like this one too. I like them all. Have you noticed? I like them all. All right, we do have the light and crazy scooter people. But today it's all about facades because someone had asked me over the weekend Are these buildings or are these facades? And the buildings we looked at over the weekend were all true 100% buildings. But today we're checking out the facades, where some of the buildings, just the front has been saved. And we just looked at some on 8th Street. And we're gonna look at some more here, right here on 7th Street. Oh, My Chemical Romance on August 18th. Okay, that's a little late. Maybe that's next year. Okay.
Well, that's good.
But as you can see here, these are just the old fronts, the old facades of buildings that have been preserved on this side of the street, with this great big office building built over top. How long have try again, Kevin. How long have I been streaming for? 20 minutes. I've been streaming just for 20 minutes. And then on this side of the street, these entire buildings have been preserved. So on the west side of 7th Street, in this location, the whole buildings are preserved. But on the east side, it's just the facades. Yeah, it's Chipotle. Hi there, how are you doing today? I'm not gonna take a piece of pizza. But you can get a piece of pizza. Free pizza, I know, free pizza bites. Yes, I know. I can't manage pizza in a live stream. That is not happening. I can't manage mosquitoes in a live stream, so we're not doing, I know, and a burrito. Look, now I'll tell you what else is here. Did we already pass it? No, let me tell you an awesome place. It's right up here. Do you all have Chopped? Do you all know what Chopped is? Chopped is like this really fresh salad place. I know some of you don't want to hear salad, but they make it right in front of you. They chop it all up. This is another beautiful one. We've looked at this one from the other side. We've done a whole detail. So I do want to focus on this side of the street. And all of these, just these little, I'll call them frontscapes. Tired of saying the word facade. There's Canes. Okay, so who's a Cane? Canes is new to this area. Completely new. And we, by the way, we are in Chinatown. Have you noticed? We're in Chinatown. Canes is new. They don't have Canes where I live. Okay. So, but Giovanni, you've heard of it, right? Okay, Q Gaming, I'm with you. I'm with you. My kids love Canes. I don't get it. I don't get why they love Canes. They love the fries. They love the sauce. They love this thing here. I don't. I mean, it's just a great big chicken bit with sloppy sauce on it. But hey, if you like Canes, I've heard people like, you know, it's fighting words if you say you don't like Canes. Fuddruckers still exists, Big Do you believe it? There are so very few. I think they originated here in the Washington area because there are 2 or 3 that are still around. This is what I wanted to share. So this is Chopped. Chopped is really good for salad. I know folks don't want to hear salad when they're looking at Raising Cane's or someplace else. No, Chopped is really good. Chopped is really good, and it is here in this beautifully preserved building. So plenty of reasons to check out Chopped. I found it first in New York, and now they're here in Washington and Maryland and Virginia. But we're gonna get a fantastic view right now of the beautiful arch, the Chinatown Welcome Arch. Check this out. We might be just a minute too late because the sun's no longer on it, but it still makes for a beautiful picture. So I mentioned Gallery Place. Gallery Place is where you can get the yellow, green, or red line. Basically, you can get all around Washington, D.C. on the Metro. You don't have to worry. It's walkable. It's Metroable. Hi, Isla. I'm so sorry. Giovanni, College Park. I was just in Maryland, College Park. Awesome. We were just talking about the, there's a National Archives facility in College Park. Hello, Gawasaurus 2.0. Hello, HGC. Hello, Isla. Hello, John. Hello, HHIC. I'm so sorry, I can't say hi. Cynthia. Hello. I've got 200 people on this crazy live stream. So hi to everyone. I'm sorry if I don't get to say hi to you. Can I buy some street food and review it? Yes, not on this stream, but on another stream, we're gonna do that. We're going to bring a friend to another stream, and we might review some places to get street food. This is H Street. And the walk all the way down H Street, east or west, you'll encounter so many beautifully preserved buildings, but I do want to highlight this one here, this little one on the corner, this kind of light olive colored. If you're a fan of architecture, you know, you can tell. Let me get around the lights of this police car. If you're a fan of beautiful architecture, you'll be able to look at this block and know that this is the oldest building on the block. And this could possibly be an early 1800s building right here. Could even be a very, very late 1700s. I doubt it. I absolutely doubt it. But I think this is the earliest building on this block. You can tell by the design. You can tell by the slightly wonky brick. You can tell by the tin roof that this is old architecture here in a beautiful part of Washington, D.C. Hi, Angela. Can I ask you a question? Why are you just standing in one position, just looking at other people, talking about other people? Oh, I'm not talking about other people. I am talking about architecture. This is an architecture walk, Angela. So thanks for asking. This is Washington, D.C. Yes, I do believe those windows could be original from where I am now. The window frames are certainly original. You can't tell until you get close to the windows and then you look at the bubbles. And just you can't even go inside and show us the rest of it. You're just walking around. Yeah, that's exactly what I'm doing, Angela. That's exactly what I'm doing. You know where has old buildings? Salem, Massachusetts. Yes. Hi, Angela. Yes, I do. I'm a historian. I do know a little bit about the buildings. I don't know everything about the buildings that I'm looking at, but I do know a little bit, just a tiny bit. Hello, Wolf. Nice to see you. Hi, Amy. I know, seriously. Connecticut does open? Yes. Yes, yes, yes. So we've done some walks in Philadelphia and Baltimore. Hi, Kurt. Nice to see you. We've done some walks in Philadelphia. We just did one last Tuesday in Philadelphia. Baltimore, Washington, D.C. There is a Chinatown. Yes, this is Chinatown in Washington, D.C. It's essentially like 3 or 4 blocks. And I'll say it was more extensive many years ago. But you will find some great restaurants here and some beautiful architecture. And as we walk just a little bit further up 7th Street before we lose all of the sunlight, we'll walk just a little farther up 7th Street. You'll get to see that the signs for the businesses all have Chinese characters. Has an old root sign and everything. There's a haunted place right near. Okay, we're not talking about haunted places today, but on future streams, we will definitely cover some haunted places. And I always love this church spire because it's cut out. Like you can see through the church spire, which is pretty cool. Bye, Angela. It was really great to meet you. Catch you later. If I had more time, I love a good debate. I really do love a good debate. If I had more time. Hi, Amy. Nice to meet you. Kimberly, I will tell you, to be honest, I have seen the National Guard around here, and I've thanked them. I've lived and worked here my entire life. This is not a political channel, but I have never been so safe. This city has never been so safe. It just is. Not a political statement. but it's a good place to be. There's always sirens. There's always sirens. Oh, that's loud. My apologies. Woo! Mercy. Okay. They are loud. PDX Chinatown no longer hosts businesses. I moved to DC in 1987, never had any crime committed against me. Yeah, I mean, most of my time here, and I've worked here a long time, most of my time here has been very safe. But, here we go again. But there have been periods of time, mercy. I do apologize. That's obnoxious. There have been periods of time when it's been safer or not so safe to be in DC. But overall, I never discourage anyone from coming to this city. As long as you know where you're going and know your surroundings, it's a great place to be. Hi, Roy. Nice to see you. Because Kimberly, just as someone who works here, I just feel safer. The last 4 or 5 years, probably the last 4 years, it was really sketch, with a lot of really scary stuff going on. It's just my opinion. Again, not political, just my opinion. Texas time. I was told to be out by dark. No, so here's the thing. What's cool is Washington, D.C. turns into a totally different place in a very good way after dark, right? All these beautiful buildings that we're taking a look at now, when they're lit up, it's a completely different world. And it's amazing for those who like architecture. If you don't like architecture, I am not offended whatsoever. But for me, this is my thing. And here's what I want to say to anyone who's walking around any city in any place is, and if you don't think you're into architecture, look up and look down. That's all I ask. Just look up and look down. Sometimes we pass by all the shops, like look across the street. Look at all the shops on the first floor, and maybe that's all we see. But if we just look up, you see something quite beautiful. And also if you look down, sometimes there's some amazing things, some artwork, different kind of stone in the sidewalk. This is one of my favorites here on this corner. It's not a copper roof. It is a metal. It's not one of those gold. Well, kind of is. I think it's trying to be a gold leaf roof. It's not like the one a few blocks down. But what it has is it has lights on it. So as it gets dark, the lights come on this dome in this beautiful, what is now a TD Bank building. What I tend to find is that these buildings with these domes are almost always former insurance companies. And I don't know if that's a throwback to like in the very old days when the insurance company was a fire insurance company and they actually had fire watchers on the roofs of the buildings. Toronto Dominion, is that what TD stands for, Oh my gosh. I had no idea. Marion Barrett, you know what? I gotta tell you, my first job in DC was under the watch of Mayor for Life, Mr. Marion Barry. He did provide us with a lot of entertainment. I will say that. I will say that for sure. Oh, Kimberly, that's fantastic. I'm very happy to know you, Kimberly. So who said they just got here? Dagny, Taggart, and DT. Here we are. We're in Washington, D.C. Can you believe it? We are in Washington, D.C. We're on 7th Street. We've made our way up from the archives and the Navy Memorial. And we've appreciated some beautiful commercial architecture that's been preserved. So I'm really glad to meet everyone. This is wild. There's so many people on the street. Hey, great to see you. somebody was waving and I wasn't looking at him. I do apologize. I like when people wave. I like people in videos. Adams Morgan is awesome. There is, in Adams Morgan, lots of restaurants, really cool stuff. The day I did the stream in Adams Morgan was like 110 degrees. So that was a short stream. So we will have to go back. Lance, hey Lance, when are you coming to America, Lance? Lance, you need to tour this place. Write a script. You need to write a script. Now, this is where I get into a little trouble with the signal. So I'm probably going to turn around and come back down the street on the other side because I don't want to lose the signal, and we're having such a great time on such a beautiful night. But I do want to hone in here. Oh, that's right. Oh, Lance, awesome. If you go down 16th, the park is incredible. There are a couple parks on 16th Street. So if you're talking about Meridian Park with that huge fountain that doesn't work anymore, I wish they would restore that fountain at Meridian Park. That would be unreal. But what I'm zooming in on right now, if you can see, is one of those awesome ghost signs in the commercial areas of Baltimore and Washington. Thankfully, some of these old signs have been preserved. And this is I always forget what it is, and I'll have to go back down the street to look at it. Gauguin Furniture, Carpets and Company. Not Furniture and Carpets Company. Furniture, Carpets and Company. Strangely. That's a really strange way to put it. Okay, we're gonna wait for this siren to pass by before we continue on our little jaunt here. Oh, Kimberly, that's awesome. That's awesome to know. It is such a beautiful park. And I'm sure the problem is the upkeep, right? To keep that huge fountain going probably costs an arm and a leg. But boy, wouldn't it be great if they could? It would be so great if they could. Yeah, I did a video from there, but it certainly doesn't give the park its due when there's no water in the big fountain. It just looks like a big empty ice skating rink. So I don't know if you can see this crane. Look at all the birds. Can you see all the birds on this crane? Okay, that's not architecture, but that's just wild. Kimberly, let's do it. Let's get it running. I'm all for it. I'm all for a good fountain. Hi, and this is Washington, D.C. This is 7th Street in Northwest Washington, D.C. This is Chinatown. Washington has a Chinatown. And we're checking it out at twilight. Waiting for the light to change. So we walked up the west side of the street, and now we're gonna cross over to the east side and take a closer view of some of these buildings as well as the ones across the street. Now, this black box here, this is a former police or fire call box. All around Washington, D.C., many of these have been restored, and some of them had art installations in them. This one looks like it's been restored, but there's no art in this one. So I've been kind of running around DC trying to find all of the restored call boxes. And I learned in my research that there wasn't just one project to restore the call boxes. There were like 5 or 6. So every time I think I have the complete list, I don't, but that's great because like it's all about the chase. And when the chase ends, it's no fun anymore. So I want to keep chasing these call boxes. How far back in history is Chinatown and DC? I do not know. I do not know. DC has a China Street, not a town. So Mango, you're kind of correct. It really is just this probably 5 or 6 block area here. It is a small Chinatown. It's centered on 7th Street and H Street. And kind of the hub right now is the arena, the Capital One Arena, where the Capitals and the Wizards, our football and hockey team, play. But this is that Gorin and Sons, Gorin Furniture and Carpets building. This is probably Grogan. There we go. See, it's the Grogan building. It's the Grogan Furniture, Carpets and Company building. We got a better view from the other side for sure. But now that we're over here, and there are always people parking, we're going to talk about parking. Now that we're here, I really want to teach some young people how to parallel park. I really do. I grew up in a city, so this is not as dramatic. Like, okay, God bless her. But look how much space she has, you know? And she really struggled with that. God bless. But what I wanted to take a look at here is this one. This is obviously a department store. So as you can see, the great big windows in front, the beautiful awning, the cast iron work around the windows on the 2nd floor. That is a really nice, small-ish department store. As we go toward F Street, if we were to go west on F Street, F is in Frank, you would see the big department stores, the former Woodward and Lothrop, the former Big Heck Company building. This would be like a small to medium-sized department store. And then look, we passed the Taco Bell, but check it out. So again, when you're down on the 1st floor and you're only looking eye level, you're often missing some beautiful architecture. And I like this one. I like painted brick as long as it's painted well. And as long as the colors are alternating. So I really like this one. And there at the HSBC Bank on the corner, you can see the Chinese symbols. Now, here's a good look. These are just probably like 4 blocks of these lanterns that adorn the streets here in Chinatown in Washington, D.C. I bet the well, we'll see. Columbia Road has plenty of fantastic buildings. Yes, yes, yes. Oh, DT, I was just there. I mean, I was literally just there. Just a few days ago. I mean, I have a whole lifetime of streets to visit here in Washington, D.C. I'll never be done. There's always something fun to see. But this one, we passed by Capital One Cafe. From the ground level, didn't look like much. We can get a much better view of this corner building from here. And it says Jamal's at the top of the building. And we've got music, so I'm going to have to talk over the music, or I'm just gonna go mute for a second. Have to avoid a copyright claim, so I have to talk over the music or hope to goodness that this guy just moves along as fast as possible. I mean, that was obnoxiously loud. Nice music, but way too loud. But I want to take a look at this beautiful building on the corner before we lose all the light. Hi, I'm Morris. Nice to see you. Hi, Oscar Nod Wannabe. Nice to see you. So glad so many people could join me on this little completely unplanned twilight walk. Just up and down 7th Street. Here's a beautiful close view of the arch here in Chinatown. Oh, how wonderful. Texas time. I really appreciate that. Thank you for letting me know. I think a lot of it depends on like where you're located. And like depending on what's going on. Hello, Kin Hua. I am in Washington, D.C. I'm at the corner of 7th and H Street. For those who like architecture, This is a hub of preserved old commercial buildings in downtown Washington, D.C. For those who like sports, this is the home of the Washington Capitals and the Washington Wizards, just down the block here. And this is Chinatown. Thank you, Dumb Dun. I don't like saying that. I really don't like saying that, Dumb Dun. But I do appreciate your comment. Yeah, we're getting beautiful lighting here. Beautiful lighting here at twilight. I went to the Nordstrom Rack close to here. So you were probably a little farther west. And there we go. There's some National Guardsmen doing their thing. I always say thank you to them. I do appreciate what they do. I really do. But here on this, oh, it just changed. On the corner, you could also get like the metro schedule on the arena here. I don't want to keep giving Capital One free advertisement here while we wait to cross. This is one of those intersections that literally you can see it has a diagonal crosswalk. You can cross diagonally here because it stops traffic in all directions because of people going to the arena.
I'm not stupid though.
What? I ain't even know what I'm
And we are just a block from one of the big fire stations here in DC. So we're going to keep hearing sirens, I think. Now there's Chopped. We went by Chopped, but now from this side we can see that it's the Roberts Brownell building. Some of these buildings were just shops, printers, tailors. What do you call hat maker? Oh, that's terrible. Haberdashers? I think haberdasher is the word. Back in the day, milliners for women's hats, haberdashers for men's fashion. Back in the day, this was the place to be on 7th Street. The larger department stores were a few blocks away on F Street. And we've taken a wander down F Street as well. Now, Washington, D.C. is fantastic because we have a lot of trees, but it does get in my way from taking video. And there's a building here that I would love to get a better picture of, and I can't. It's this little building here that's just shadowed by this tree, and it says A.E. Burley's and Company, or and Sons. A.E. Burley's and Sons, 1881, completely enshrouded by a tree. And you can see the exposed brick inside, which is beautiful. And the trees are beautiful, and that's okay. Gets in my way. I don't hold it against the trees. This one next to it, and I need to talk very loudly again, it's the same guy. It's the same guy with the loudest speakers ever. And he's literally 2 blocks away, and I can still hear it really loudly. So I'm gonna have to, again, I'm gonna just have to talk really loudly over his speakers. This one here, next door to the A.E. Burley's. I really like the work around the windows on that one. And then this one, H.C. Okay, I do need to back away from the traffic. H.C. Wald, 1888 for this one. No, not Hoboken. This is
I will see you soon.
this is Washington, D.C. Oh, Lance, who did you call and tell to follow me? I gotta scroll back. I can't follow the chat. This is not possible. So whoever you called to follow me, I appreciate it, Lance. I really do. I like the black on brick. I do like this block here. This is one of the oldest blocks. So you can see 1888. I know from my European friends that's not old. But you can see this is more than just facades of buildings. These are the entire buildings that have been preserved here on this block.
Hold on.
It's fun to take a look at. Bring back the Spa Diner. I don't know what that is. I don't know what the Spa Diner is. Lance, oh, there's two Lances. Oh, we've got a Lance and a Lance. That's going to get confusing. So, Lance actor coach Lance extraordinaire, and other Lance. You're just going to be other Lance. Go to New Orleans. That might be on the list for next year. Not anytime soon. I have several other trips to make in the next few months, but I do like New Orleans. Lots of architecture there, tons of history there to check out. Hi, Joshua. There are. Quebec City. Yes, I have some research that I need to do in old Quebec City. I have ancestors who are French but lived in Quebec for a few years before coming to the United States. So I do have some research to do there. That's a really good corner building. Let's get a better view of that. That's a good one. I like that one. What's the big statue of a man? What's the big statue of a man? Oh, you know what? Is that Will Rogers? I'm going to say I don't know. This is the Museum of American Art. Used to be the old original United States Patent and Trademark Office, one of the earliest office buildings in Washington, D.C. And that might be a silhouette of Will Rogers, but I'm not sure. Or Norman I get them confused. Norman Rockwell. I don't know. The answer is I don't know. And I'm not going to cross the street and find out at this time. But we're here at the Capital One Arena. And there's no game tonight. That's why this isn't a madhouse, an absolute madhouse, if there's a game going. Nicola, no, not going to show myself. I did on the stream when I hit 500 subs. I did a little hello, and folks were completely shocked. As they should be, because I do these walks in a business suit, as I'm doing right now. So I'm walking around in a suit, a dowdy businesswoman, and people are just completely shocked. Hi, Terry. Whoa, yes, way. Yes, way. Now, as I was mentioning at the beginning of the stream, which was, oh my gosh, almost an hour ago, the reason I started this stream was just to share a little bit about what's open and closed because the federal government is shut down right now. And I started this stream at the National Archives because there are folks who do research like me and spend time in the archives, and the archives is closed. So with the closure of the government, the archives building is closed, but check online to see if you can get what you need online, and also check to make sure you're going to the right one because there are multiple archives facilities. If you're coming down to go to a museum, some of the museums have been impacted, others have not. So all I'm just saying is check before you come down here. I will say there's not a lot of traffic. There's still business going on in Washington, D.C., but it's a lot less traffic and far fewer people here, and because there's no games today. So this area would certainly be super busy if there were games going on. Hi, Maria in Ireland. Hello, Hickam citizen. Is the Library of Congress closed? Yes, the Library of Congress building is closed. However, if you want to get stuff online, stuff's available online too. I didn't appreciate the buildings when I was younger either. But now I feel like, well, I have time to appreciate them now. And because I work here And I've worked here so long, and for many of those years, I would okay, there's that Cylon eye on a bus, by the way. I keep telling people that the buses have Cylon eyes here. They do, see? But for many years I worked here and would just zoom home at the end of the day, right? I did not take advantage of the museums or anything because I was tired and I wanted to get home. And that was the wrong thing to do, because now I realize, well, there's still a lot to do and I'll still be working here for a long time. But I wish I had taken advantage. And because almost everything is free, almost everything you could want to do in Washington, D.C. Museums, monuments, memorials, parks, the Smithsonian, they're all free. There are very few things that you have to pay for. Some of the exhibits require a timed ticket in the Smithsonian, but that's just a timed ticket. You don't have to pay for the ticket. Now, for the IMAX theater and for special events and exhibits, you might have to pay. Hi, Samuel. It's great to see you. Hi, Roha. I'm so sorry. I can't say hi to there's so many people in chat. It's crazy. Kimberly, the National, yes, let's shout it from the rooftops. The National Zoo is free. And although they do charge an arm and a leg for parking, you can park in the neighborhood. And here, all around Washington, D.C., I recommend just take a minute and read the parking signs. I think people think that street parking is prohibited everywhere at all times. It's not. And it's cheaper than parking in a garage. Those garages will take advantage of you. They will charge you an arm and a leg. And usually it's something crazy like $12 for the first half hour. You can park on the street, some places for free in the residential areas. But down here, don't quote me on this, but I think I just parked for 2 hours for like $3.45. So it's really fine. But as you can see, I'm honed in on this building because now the lights are coming on. It is twilight in Washington. The lights are coming on. Trying not to zoom in on the food truck. The food trucks are everywhere. But just so you can get your bearings, this is the Smithsonian American Art Museum, and this one is open. So open daily, 11:30 to 7 p.m. Free. Are you seeing this? Free. Some of the museums are impacted by the closure. The National Sculpture Garden is closed due to the government closure, but the Museum of American Art is open. This is where you see the portraits. Those official portraits of the presidents and other important people are in that building right there. This one I do love. 1875. This is the Ledroit building, as we say. Probably would have been called the Le Droit building back in the day, but we'll be local and call it the Ledroit building. And it is magnificent in the day, and as you can see, it is magnificent at night. Built in 1875, lovingly preserved. And just because you asked, Texas, ice cream truck. I think it's Ben Dover, who's usually in my chat, who always asks me if I can find him an ice cream place. So Ben, I don't think you're here, but that ice cream truck was for Texas and for you. Kim, that is so lovely. I really appreciate that. We're so lucky, you know, when you get a clear night, beautiful skies. Now, if you're on the East Coast, tonight's going to be another brutal night for sleep. Last night and tonight, the moon is full, close, and super bright. There is not a cloud in the sky. I have room darkening shades. I could not sleep last night because of the moonlight. I kept thinking lights were on outside. It's going to be the same tonight. So everyone on the East Coast, like, use your eye masks tonight. Yeah, tonight is a full moon. Nicola, you can come to Washington, D.C. any old time. Anytime. check it out. If we were to continue down this street, we'd be at the White House. I'm not doing that one tonight. I've been streaming longer than I planned to. I'm so grateful for everyone who stopped by. We'll do the White House another night. This is part of the Museum of American Art. This is Washington, D.C. We are now on the corner of F and 9th Street. And I mentioned that F Street, down this street here, are more beautiful preserved commercial buildings. This block, now I want to talk about the preservation of this block. So over here we looked at the LeDroit building, preserved. We've got this little tiny one in between. Then we've got the Adams building, 1876, and the Warder building on the corner. Now, while these are complete buildings, they're not facades. Most of these have been, there's been demolition between the buildings, and they've been joined in the inside because this block used to be the location of the Spy Museum. The International Spy Museum was located inside these buildings, and you would go through these buildings where today there's a Nando's. I think that was the gift shop. And I think this building was the main entrance. But the Spy Museum was here. The Spy Museum is fantastic. You do have to pay for the Spy Museum, but it is well worth it, especially if you have kids, especially if you're a James Bond fan or a history fan. But that museum outgrew this block pretty quickly. And so it's located near L'Enfant Plaza in Southwest Washington, D.C. And it is so worth a visit. Hi, Jose. Nice to see you. Hi, Carlito. Nice to see you. Is it true that the artifacts in the Smithsonian come to life? Kim, yes, it is. And let me also tell you that on Saturdays, I join some of my friends on a podcast, a live stream called Film Club. And if you look up Film Club, and it's on Stasis Geeks channel, this weekend, the film is Night at the Museum. Kim Ninja, the film this Saturday that we picked is Night at the Museum. So everyone is welcome to join us at Film Club. We meet at Saturdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time, 8 p.m. UK time, and we're on Stasis Geeks channel, STASIS GEEK, Stasis Geek Film Club. And we're joined by Jay from Nerd Takes and me. And this, I'm sorry. I misspoke about Night at the Museum. Night at the Museum is not this Saturday, it's the Saturday after. This Saturday is Brotherhood of the Wolf. Sorry about that. This Saturday is Brotherhood of the Wolf, and next Saturday is Night at the Museum. But Kim, I know for a fact that everything comes to life in these museums. I know for a fact. I'm a historian. I speak the truth. We are going to end this amazing stream today. Thank you all so much for joining me. We're going to end it on this beauty. This is the Riggs Bank building. And it is as magnificent as you think it is during the day, but especially at night. We're here at the corner of F as in Frank, F Street, and 9th Street in beautiful Washington, D.C. Hey there, how are you? And we're enjoying some twilight architecture on a beautiful summer evening. Kim, how to contribute to my channel? Just stop by once in a while. I really appreciate that. My channel, believe it or not, is so new, it's not monetized. But I really appreciate that. I hope that someday it will be monetized. I have gained so many viewers and views just in the last few months. It's been astounding. And I've been doing these little walks all by myself, videoing them with a big 35mm camera for some architectural studies that I do. And one day, December of last year, oh, the streetlights just came on. One day in December of last year, I decided to do a live stream. And I was amazed that people actually wanted to walk along with me. And because I've been doing this for years, taking video, and I have over 3,000 hours of video for architectural studies that I've done. And I need to turn those into real videos. I'm gonna edit them into real videos. The only one that well, I've done a few. The one I'm really proud of is the Australian Embassy video on my channel. So check that out if you're interested. I have visited every single embassy in Washington, D.C. I've published shorts on every single one, and I'm editing videos on all the others. I'm now in a process of tracking down all of those police call boxes, and also getting views of these beautiful buildings at different times of day. Let's walk it out. I know, I'm getting tired. I gotta get home. I do have to get home. This is a great way for me to avoid the traffic and let the traffic go by. But thank you so much for everyone. Used to work at the Embassy of India. There are several buildings in the Embassy of India. It's one of the buildings that has a elephant. There's an entire elephant safari that you can do in Washington, D.C. There are like, I don't know, maybe 10 elephants at different embassies. And they just took the one away at Sri Lanka. I wonder why. Thanks, everyone. I hope wherever you are, you have a beautiful place to walk, beautiful things to look at. And I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Thank you to everyone for stopping by my channel. Take care.